So outsourcing is great for both Australian businesses and, of course, obviously for the Philippines. So let's talk about Australia first. Let's think big picture, and then let's look at a particular example. At the big picture level, what we need in Australia are more genuinely globally competitive businesses. So we know that we can sell lots of raw materials and all sorts of other things overseas, but the future is being able to sell all sorts of more sophisticated products like business services and more expensive, high value manufactured items and all of this type of stuff. And what we need are companies that are really truly globally competitive. And what partnering with the Philippines enables businesses to do is to use all of the great skills and talent that Australia has and to dedicate that to really good high value tasks that deliver the most value for those businesses, and then use the Philippines and the Filipino workforce to deliver all of the more process oriented tasks and all of the tasks that are less, if you like, value add, in order to put together a complete picture where everything's done at the most efficient possible price. So that's sort of, it's outsourcing is a way to build globally competitive businesses. And the thing is, if you have a really great business that has a really truly globally competitive operation underpinning your business here in the Philippines, what you actually have is a business that's fit for purpose. You can go out and bid and win business anywhere in Southeast Asia because your cost base is the same as all the other businesses in Southeast Asia. And you can actually go out there and start winning just incredible amounts of work. It's really exciting. When you're up here and you see what's going on up here, you just realise that the opportunities up here for Australian businesses are just huge. And I reckon that's another big advantage, is that when you've got people working up here and you've got teams up here, your thinking starts to change and you start to think more about the possibilities. The economy up here in East Asia and Southeast Asia is just massive, and there are huge opportunities, and there's massive demand up here for Australian expertise, because within the great regional economy that we're in, Australians are actually seen as being very, very high value talent, and Australians and Australian products and Australian services are in demand. And half the time people are sitting back in Australia unaware of what great opportunity is up here. So that's sort of a secondary benefit, is that it gives people a chance to change their thinking and to bring into their thinking an awareness of the opportunity that's up here, and just sort of gets a little bit out of their comfort zone and gets them sort of open to new opportunities and new ideas. Let's think about it at the micro level. If you had a business in, say, the western suburbs of Sydney, and you were, say, turning over, $2 million a year, and you had a bunch of staff, and you were sort of struggling. It's a struggling business, and it's not really going anywhere. And there's lots and lots of businesses like that in Australia. Well, maybe all you need to be able to sort of re-energise and reinvigorate that business is to look at ways of, to put it crudely, look at ways to reduce the cost base inside the business. But also what you need to do to drive the business forward is to improve service levels, or to create some sort of new sort of buzz or excitement around the business to sort of give it a way where the business can actually move forward as well. So what you can do by leveraging Filipino talent is you can sort of shuffle it gives you more cards to play in terms of how you allocate resources. Because not only can you, if you like, reduce some sort of cost out of your business by replacing a more expensive resource with a less expensive resource, but you can actually then, instead of just saving the money, you can then use the money that's left over to get access to some sort of new resource that's going to give you the ability to open up some new part of your business. For example, you might want to you might have a business that's a traditional retail business, But what you want to really do, although you're struggling to figure out how to afford it, is you might want to offer some sort of really exciting web-based service. But how do you have people there to answer queries that might come in at 9 o'clock at night? And how do you deal with, who's going to answer all the queries? And how are you going to build the website? And there's all these sort of reasons why it's difficult to do that. But if you can sort of free your business up by shuffling the cards of the resources that you deploy inside your business, you can actually sort of reinvigorate your business, but at the same time you can release resources that then can be used to invest in creating more opportunity in your business. And that ultimately leads to better Australian businesses and better jobs back in Australia. For the Philippines, well, look, obviously the benefits of outsourcing are huge for the Philippines. So let's think about this. We all know, and it's in the news all the time. Right now, the Philippines is in the news every second day. And it's no secret that the Philippines is a country that has 110 million Filipinos. They're our neighbour. It's not very far. The interesting fact is when you fly from Sydney to Manila, the halfway point is Darwin. So the Philippines is very close to Australia. There's a lot of Filipinos who live a life that is significantly less than what it could be, not because they've let opportunities slip through their fingers, but because they've just never had opportunities. And of course, what Australian business does by investing in the Philippines is it creates opportunities here in the Philippines for young Filipinos to actually get something that they can hold on to and that they can use in order to build a better future for them and for their families. And that's really important. It's a really important good that Australian business can do in order to help the Philippines down the road that it's on towards trying to build a better future for its people.